Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Um, Thank you so much for joining at this time. Yeah, thank you so much for joining at this time, and it's actually a pleasure to have you on this live stream tonight. Um, I'm going to just wait for like 7 more minutes so that those who are joining us for the first time they can be able to join us. So if you are here already, I just want you to signify by typing your name and your location where you are reaching me from. You just help me to type your name and location. Okay. If you are there, please do well to type in your name and your location. Let me know where you are joining us from tonight. Okay. We'll give those who will be joining us for the first time some. We'll start by 9:07, so that will be extra 2 minutes. While we wait for others to join us, please let's signify um, by typing our name and location where we are streaming from or where you are reaching out from. Please type in your name and location. Okay, so this is 9:07 already, so we'll just start. I welcome everybody to tonight's live session, and I'll be talking about introduction to data analytics. I'll be giving a preamble and just as it is, introduction. So that will be in a PowerPoint presentation, in not really a practical work or a practical analysis. So it's a PowerPoint presentation. Um, I'll be I'll be sharing my screen at this time. Okay. So we are all welcome to Samists, the analyst's introduction to data analytics, and I'm going to be providing a comprehensive overview of the techniques and tools that are used in data analytics. My name is Samuel Namani, also known as Samist the Analyst. I'm a data analyst with 4 years of experience, and currently I work as a web analyst. And apart from working as a web analyst, I also manage personal blog and a website. So hopefully by the end of this session, I'll be showing you a snapshot of my my personal blog and website. I'm very much efficient in data analytics tools such as Microsoft Excel, SQL, Power BI, and Python. So these are the four analytics tools that I am efficient in. And of course, I currently run this channel on YouTube, so it has actually given me the opportunity to give out what I know and to actually get engaged with students from across the world. So we want to start off. Now, the question is, what is data analytics? So, data analytics is a field in information technology that examines, cleans, transform, and interprets data so as to uncover useful insights, patterns, and trends. So, data analytics is an end to end process. So, it is a process that aims to turn raw form of data, okay, from that particular form into a more meaningful form, okay, and that meaningful form is called an information or an insight. So at the end of the day, data analytics has a beginning process and it has an end. And data analytics is a field that provides solution to organizations. Now, anyone who works or anyone who is skilled in data analytics is called a data analyst. And data analytics can actually be used in different spheres. You can have data analytics in the healthcare sector. You can have data analytics um, in the market sector. You can have data analytics in the military sector. You can have data analytics in terms of geospatial field. Okay, you can have data analytics in the e-commerce sector. So in the business sector, everywhere, so long as there is data, data analytics can be found in any setting. Now, what are the key goals of data analytics? The first one is to identify patterns. Okay, now data analytics helps you to identify patterns and trends within a data set. When you have a raw data set, there are actually patterns and trends that can be identified. And you, as a data analyst, your work is to identify those patterns and those trends. And then also, it improves decision making. So data analytics help you to improve decision making because whatever insight that you get from analyzing data can actually be used to make an informed decision. Okay, you have what we call the data driven insight. So that means um, for a thriving organization, you can't simply wake up, or the CEO can't simply wake up and decide to take a decision. That decision must be backed up with data driven insight. So, data analytics helps to improve better decision making. And also, it increases efficiency. When we talk about increasing efficiency, we are talking about streamlining the process. Okay, because when you are working as a data analyst, you work with complex data sets, and those complex data sets can be very large. So by the end of the data analytics process, that particular data set has been streamlined. It has gone through different processes that at the end of it all, it will increase efficiency. Now, the last but not the least goal of data analytics is to predict future outcome. So imagine a process where you are able to identify a problem in the data set, and at the end of the day, you cannot predict a future outcome that can overcome that problem. Okay, because you use an historical data to identify a problem, and by using that data to identify a problem, you need to predict what the future outcome will be so that you can know the best way to go with it. So the key goals, or one of the key goals of data analytics, is to predict future outcome, and all these are by the use of techniques and method to do that. Now we come to the types of data analysis. So there are different types of data analysis in the field of data analytics. They are basically categorized into four. The first one is the descriptive data analysis. Now, the descriptive data analysis is an analysis that aims to answer the question, what happened? Now, a very good tool in descriptive analysis is the Google Analytics. Okay, the Google Analytics is a cloud-based data analytics platform that helps you as a website user to be able to track the performance of your website. It gives you information on how users behave, how many users come in a particular month, how users are being retained. Okay, and also it gives you an insight on the behavioral patterns. If users are spending more time on a particular page, okay, and then also the time that they spend, all these are called descriptive. So just from the name descriptive, it means to describe in detail what happened. So descriptive data analysis gives you like a snapshot of what is happening, so you are kept abreast with what is happening. And also descriptive data can also be can also work with historical data, because it must not be like an up-to-date kind of data. Okay, it can be an historical data with which can describe what has happened in the past. And then after you have known what happened, then you now go to the next one, which is diagnostic data analytics. Now, diagnostics simply means to diagnose, to find out, to do more, more research. So that means that diagnostic data analysis answer the question, why did it happen? So if, let's say, in the first instance you notice that um, there is a 20% drop in that is in your organization's sales, okay, product sales for a particular year, then as a data analyst you want to perform what we call the diagnostic data analysis to find out why did it happen. And in all this, you need a lot of tools and a lot of techniques and methods to be able to find out the reason why. Now, maybe let's say you begin to check and then you discover that, okay, the people who actually are supposed to buy those products online, maybe they were able to scale through the other processes of adding the products into the cart, and they were able to also sum up their products. But then by the time they got to the checkout page, the checkout page became complicated and they can't find a way of checking out their goods. That can be a reason why there is a sharp decline in the selling of the products. So that is what diagnostic data analysis helps to do. It helps to find out the reason why. And there are a lot of tools that are available to be able to perform a diagnostic data analysis. Now, also, in another example, you can have, let's say, a a a restaurant. You can have an online, you know, store that provides food vendor kind of service. So you can also discover that, okay, apart from finding out, negative aspects, you can, in, let's say, in the descriptive data analysis, you discover that, okay, there is a 50% rise in customers that are purchasing food um, from your website. So in the diagnostic, you want to find out, okay, why are they buying this particular, why is there an increase? Why is there an increase in this particular food? And by the time as a data analyst you begin to check, you discover that, okay, maybe because of seasonality, let's say in a particular season of the year, that particular kind of food is highly needed, and customers, order more for that particular food because of the season that that food is available. So that is how you can be able to answer the question, why did it happen. Then after you have inquired why did it happen and you have gotten the answer, the next data analysis is predictive data analysis. So in this particular point, you are now trying to find out what is likely to happen in the future. Okay, so when you are performing predictive data analysis, just from the name, it means to predict. Okay, you begin to use complex algorithms, you begin to use machine learning processes, you begin to use computational techniques and statistical methods to be able to predict what is likely to happen. So if you notice that, okay, these particular goals, they are actually, predictive has to do with cause and effect. Okay, cause and effect. And if you know what cause and effect means, that means something causes an incident to happen, and then this is the effect. So um, predictive helps you to be able to predict what will happen likely in the future. So you notice that, just like in your in the restaurant example that I gave, there is a particular increase in customer purchase of food products. So, as a business owner or as a data analyst, you want to predict what is likely going to happen in the future. Let's say um, after a while there is a sharp decline. Okay, so instead of an increase this time there is a sharp decline, and you want to check, and you have checked and you discovered, okay, this particular product, because of the season, it is not usually ordered. So what can we do? Because we are looking at the future, what can we do? So one of the ways you can attend to it is to either get what we call a very robust campaign. So you run a very robust campaign concerning that particular product so that it can reach more people, or you can end up not placing that product for to be ordered, so that you can spend less. Okay, so that there will be less expenditure. So that is what predictive data analysis helps to do. And then after you have predicted what is likely to happen, then you now get to the prescriptive data analysis. So this is a process that prescribe, and then it answers the question, what is the best course of action? What is the best course of action? So in this case, it is now prescribing possible solutions that can be of immense help. So at this point, the model will now run through, the data analytics model, or the machine learning model will run through all the possible course of action that can be taken to prevent that incident from happening in the future, especially if it's on the negative part. Now, a very typical example of this is the Google Map. So you discover that anytime you use a Google Map, you want to take the nearest direction to a particular place, and then you type in the name of the destination you are going to. You discover that Google begins to check all the possible map, and all the possible nearest place, and it shows you a longer way to your destination, and then it also shows you a shorter way. So that is a very good example of a prescriptive data analysis. Now we want to go into the data analysis process. So data analysis process is basically divided into four. Okay, and this is for data analysis. So you have it an end to end. Now, on the first part, you have the data collection. So, in this data collection, it is a process that involves systematically identifying, capturing, and measuring information on variables of interest. Okay, and at the end, enabling one to answer research questions, test hypotheses, and evaluate outcome. So that is what data analytics, data collection helps to do. So it's a very systematic, um, 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 you know, aspect, in the sense that you can't just wake up and begin to collect data. First of all, what is the purpose of collecting that data? Is it to solve a problem? Is it for research, or is it to answer questions? Okay, and then also when you have been able to identify the problem, or to yes, that is to identify the purpose. Then who are the targeted audience? Where are you getting this data from? So you can have the primary sources, and then you can also have the and that is the secondary sources. Okay, so primary sources, secondary sources. Primary sources are actually observations. Okay, that is the everyday activity you observe. Apart from observing, you print out questionnaires to people so that they can fill, and then you get their responses. Those are primary sources, and then secondary sources has to do with going to going back to historical data that has actually been um, be saved somewhere. You go back to them and try to see what you can get from it. And then also you ask the type of data that you want to collect. because there are different types of data. You can have quantitative data, you can have qualitative data. Okay, those that are in text format and those that are in number format. So these are the systemic activities that you must check before you go to collect your data. And then also, one key aspect of data collection is that the data must have integrity. Yes, the data must have integrity. It must have integrity, meaning that there are no inconsistencies in your data. There are no errors. Okay, there are no imbalances in the data set. The data types, the data structure, everything is correct and uniform. So these are the things you must check when collecting data. Now, after you've collected the data, the next process you want to go into is the cleaning aspect. So the cleaning aspect is also known as the data cleaning, cleansing, or the data scrubbing. So it is a process of identifying and correcting errors. Sorry, please. It's a process of identifying and correcting errors, inconsistencies, and inaccuracies in data to ensure its quality and reliability for analysis. So that is what the data cleaning aspect is all about. It's a very, very robust process because this particular process determines the accuracy of every other process. If you're unable to clean your data very well, you begin to in short, the insight you will get from your analysis will be so bad. You will not get what we call data correlation. The values will not be correlating. The visuals will be off point. There are so many things that would happen when you don't clean your data. Now, when you clean data, what are you actually cleaning data against? The first one is that you clean data against what we call missing values or missing records. So at the point of data collection, there are times that the values they will be missing. Okay, due to human errors, that is very certain. So you clean data to be able to address missing values, and also you also have outliers. Outliers are values that are valid within the column, but then they are ambiguous data. Yes, let me use that word. They are ambiguous data. For instance, if you are addressing a class of 4 to 6 years old children by range, then you find a 24 years old child. That is 24 years old adults. Yes, let me use that word. Okay. In that class, that person is an outlier. The point is actually valid because that 24 is also a numeric value, just like 4 to 6. But then it is an outlier because at that point it is not really, really um, important. Okay, so you clean against missing value, you clean against outliers, you clean against inconsistency or noise in the data set. There are sometimes that the data types will not be correlating. Take for ins- take for instance the date format. There are some data that the date format is supposed to be in month, day, and then year. And then within that same data set, you will also find a date format that is in year, month, and day. You see all this level of inconsistency. That is what you clean the data against. Then you have the data analysis. So this is the proper step in the data analytics process. Is also known as explorative data analysis. So this is an initial investigation of the data to summarize its main characteristics. Yes. So when you are analyzing data, you are not trying to find out patterns, okay, within the data sets. You are trying to find out trends. within the data set. And as you do that, you use a number of tools, you use aggregation methods, you use statistical methods, okay, to be able to analyze the data very well. So after the data has been cleaned already, analysis becomes easy. So analysis and visualization, they go hand in hand, okay, because as you're analyzing, you are also visualizing so that you can be able to give, or you can be able to identify trends properly. Okay, you can be able to identify patterns properly. Now, the next step is the interpretation and report. So, as a data analyst, you must be sound in interpretation. That is the final step, actually. So, in this step, the results of the analysis are understood, they are contextualized, and communicated to stakeholders in a meaningful way. These steps help to translate complex data insights into actionable conclusion and decision. So the main key aspects of this, especially in the interpretation aspect, is that you must make the analysis or your report to be easily understood, okay, both to those who are those who are tech inclined and those who are not tech inclined. So if you are communicating your findings, you are communicating your insights, it must be very simple, okay, in simple terms. And then also it must be contextualized, meaning as a data analyst, there was a particular problem that made the organization to reach out to you and said, "Can you use this data to find, to find the problem and also to find the possible solution?" So, and there's something about data. When you start working with data, you start getting other insights apart from the original insights. So when you are reporting or you are interpreting these insights, you have to contextualize it. You have to provide the insight that is in the context of the problem. Okay, you don't go outside the problem. You don't give insights that are not part of the problem. Okay, so and then also you must be able to communicate. You must have effective communication skills to engage stakeholders in a very meaningful way. And then also in terms of reporting, you need to make your visuals to be very, very simple. Okay, because visuals, to those who are not tech inclined, they said a picture conveys many words. Okay, so when you make your visuals to be simple, you are actually communicating different things, okay, to the users. The users are able to understand what you are communicating very well. Yes, they are able to even draw insights and to identify patterns by themselves. And also when you are reporting, there are different ways in you are able to communicate that visual. You can use charts, you can use tables, you can use graphs, okay, you can even use maps, as the case may be. So that is for the data analysis process. Now we want to look at the tools that can be used in data analysis. So at this point, we are now leveraging technology for better insights. So the first one is the spreadsheet tools, okay, which for example is Excel and Google Sheets. Okay, so these are actually robust built-in multifunctional spreadsheets, okay, tools that can be able to help you generate insights from the data. Now, as you all know, Excel is actually um, produced by Microsoft, and inside Excel you have a number of tools, and parts and one key aspect of it is the pivot table. The pivot table helps you to be able to do quite a lot, to be able to aggregate data, and also to be able to arrange your data into more concise format. And then also you have the Google Sheet. The Google Sheet is a very simple um, um, spreadsheet, just that it is also similar to Excel, just that the Google Sheet is cloud based. Okay, you can be able to perform lighter data analysis, yeah, lighter data analysis using the Google Sheet. Then you also have the database tool, which includes the SQL, the Microsoft SQL Server, and then the MongoDB. MongoDB simply means Mongo database. Now, SQL means structured query language. So it's actually a language. Okay, it's a domain level language that helps you to be able um, to query data that are inside a relational database. That is what it does. Okay, to query and also to manage data sets, okay, within a relational database. What are relational database? Relational database are databases, okay, that you can use to house a data set. For instance, you have MySQL. MySQL is an example of a relational database. You have Microsoft SQL Server. It's an example of a database. You have MongoDB is an example of a database. You have PostgreSQL, you have SQLite. So all these, they are database tools. Then you look at statistical analysis tools such as SPSS and Stata. So these are tools that you can use to perform high level statistical operations. Okay, so for those who are in economics, those who are into public research, those who are into anything having to do with research generally, they make use of the statistical analysis tool. Then you also have the visualization tool. Visualization tool, you have Power BI, Tableau, Google Data Studio, and then you have the Plotly. So the Power BI is a very powerful tool, okay, that actually works in relation with Excel. Power BI is produced by Microsoft, and also Excel is produced by Microsoft. So they have this relation, okay, which helps you to be able to transport data from Excel into Power BI very easily. And then also you can visualize. It has different visuals, different charts, different maps to be able to draw insights. And then also you have the Tableau is another powerful tool again for visualizing. You have the Google Data Studio. Google Data Studio also works in relation with the Google Sheet. Okay, so just as Power BI works with Excel, Google Data Studio works with Google Sheet. So the producers or the manufacturers, they make it to be very easy to transport data between the two platforms. And then you have the Plotly, okay, which is within the Python um, data frame. And then we have machine learning tools such as scikit-learn, TensorFlow, and then Keras. So these are actually machine learning tools that you can be able to use to build models, okay, to build predictive models that can be able to find out the outcome of a particular incident. Then you have also tools like programming language tools. Yes, Python and R. So Python is a very common language tool that is available, and within Python you can do quite a lot. You can clean, you can analyze, you can visualize. Also, it has a lot of built-in packages that helps you to carry out data analysis. And then also R is used basically for research. Those who are into research, they use R. It's also a powerful tool for analysis and visualization. Now we want to go into the data visualization. Now, when you look at the chart that is before you, you can, even though you are not a data analyst, you can be able to see something there. Okay, you can be able to see that first of all, we have consecutive years, year 2020, 2021, and 2022. And then you can also identify patterns, right? Yes, you can identify patterns. You can see a trend, a particular trend. And what is that trend? There is an upward trend. Okay, so this is how visual works. Visual communicates an insight to you, even though you are not tech inclined. Okay, so 90% visuals, make data 90%, and they present data in a graphical or visual format to make it easier to understand, interpret, and communicate insight. So that is what visuals actually mean. Okay, to communicate insight. Once you see a particular visual, you're able to know what it is all about. So it also makes it easier to identify patterns, trends, relationship, and outliers within a data set. So there are different ways of visualizing data. Okay, and that is a clean data actually. You can make use of charts. Within the charts, you have the bar charts, you have the column charts, okay, you have the line charts. So all these are used to visualize data sets, and um, the visuals that you use depend on the type of data that you are dealing with. Okay, because they are actually what we call continuous data sets, and then they are what we call discrete data sets. So if you are dealing with continuous, that means it is continuous. That means over time. So you have a particular data set that is over time, or that has decimal points. Let me use that word, such as the height. Okay, the height. So you have some can be 18.7 centimeter, and then tomorrow when the person comes, the person is 18.8 centimeter. It is progressive in nature. Okay, and then you can now have discrete data sets such as the age. Okay, the age of a child, for example, 6 years. 6 years is 6 years. There is no 6.5 years, or there is no 6.7 years. I don't know if you get it. So these two um, categories of data will determine the type of visual that you use to express your insights. So apart from graphs, then you can also have maps. Maps can be used. Okay, so you make sure that your data set is well formatted. Okay, to be able to show on the map. Because if you don't format, let's say, a country into the country format, there is a possibility that when you use a map visual, that country will not reflect. Okay, and then also when you have a city, you also need to format it into a city, because every data analytics tool, and most especially the spreadsheet and the visualization tool, they have formatting techniques to format data that can be reviewed on maps. So if you don't format it into the right format, it cannot be reviewed. So apart from charts, and then you also have maps. Then you can also have different other types of. You can also have histogram. Okay, you can have histogram, and then you can have pie charts. Okay, so all these are visuals that you can be able to use to identify trends, and also you can use it to identify relationships. Okay, relationship between values. So you get to see, let's say you are working on a data set of children, and you are trying to see if there's a relationship between the age of the children and their performances in the class. Okay, so you are trying to see, okay, a child who is 2 years old, is he performing less than a child who is 10 years old? You get it now. So that relationship, you can get that relationship only when you visualize um, a data set. So let's look at data cleaning. Data cleaning. Now, data cleaning, just as I said earlier, is one of the most important aspects of data analysis. If you don't clean your data very well, your data will have noises. And if your data have noises, you are going to, especially when you start dealing with prescriptive model, you are now prescribing. Okay, that is predictive. Yes, both predictive and prescribing. Okay, the both of them, the two last uh, processes or the two last types of um, data analysis. So, if you are working towards that end and you don't clean your data very well, that is when you have a very very big problem. Yes, and it can be a problem that can last for many days, running into months. So data cleaning is one aspect that you really want to take your time. If as a data analyst you are given a project of 3 weeks, data cleaning can take more than 1.5 weeks, because you need to spend time to clean your data thoroughly. And just as I said, you clean a lot of things in your data set. Now, what is the importance? First of all, data cleaning improves data accuracy and reliability. Yes, you want to ensure that your data set is accurate. There are no inconsistencies. There are no um, there are, your data set is having the same structure all through. Okay, the data types, they are correlating, not that within a column there are different data types. One is numbers, one is text, and then one is date, and all of that. No, you want to ensure that your data set is accurate and it is also reliable. Okay, so when we talk about reliable, we are also talking about making sure of what we call um, data validation. Okay, a kind of a logical consistency, and then also it ensures consistency across data sets. Yes, your data set must be consistent. It must be consistent in being clean. Just as I said earlier, the data validation helps you to make sure your data set is consistent. That means if you are dealing with if you are dealing with data sets of children within the range of 4 to 6, you want to ensure that that data set is consistent. It is not having 24 years old adults within that particular data set. So that is what cleaning helps to do. It helps you to remove those eh, that is those encumbrances, and ensures consistency. And then also it helps to reduce errors in data processing. Okay, it reduces errors because as you begin to start from one end of the data analysis process to the other end, all that are all processes. Okay, so it reduces error as you go along the way, from data collection to data that is to data cleaning, from data cleaning to data analysis, from data analysis to and that is to data visualization, and then to interpreting, and then to building of the model. So it reduces errors. You get it. So that is what it does, and then it enhances informed decision making. Yes, once you're able to clean your data, you know that whatever insight you get from that data is clean, is reliable, is a fact. Yes, because your data is clean. So it's in so and whenever you are sharing such insights with stakeholders, they are able to make informed decision. So that means if you don't clean your data, your organization will be making an uninformed decision, and that is not something you may want to consider doing. So, what then are the challenges in data analysis? What then are the challenges? So we can see that there is need for us to overcome common obstacles. Okay, common obstacles. In as much as data analysis is a very interesting field, and It's actually a beautiful one at that. It has challenges, yes, it has challenges. And you, as a data analyst, you want to prepare your mind, you want to prepare your heart, yeah, okay, to face those challenges. So, one of the challenges is data quality issues. Data quality. I used to tell my students, I say, a data analyst does not really collect data, okay, but he or she can be part of the process. But that is not the primary role or function of a data analyst. So, but then you have what we call the data quality issues. Your data set must be sound. It must be sound. It must have what I call data integrity. Okay, it must have data integrity, meaning there are no inconsistencies. I will still keep on hammering on that inconsistency because if you are coming into the field of data analytics, just prepare your mind to face a lot of inconsistencies that can give you sleepless nights. Yes, it can give you sleepless nights. You just be on your bed and you're like, what is wrong with this data? What is wrong with this data? What is wrong with this? And then you wake up and then you begin to scramble. So data quality issues, they are real. So you need to prepare yourself to be able to handle it. Then you also have data integration compatibility. Yes, because you know, whenever data sets are being collected, just like told you, there are different sources. You have primary sources and then you have secondary sources. So the secondary sources and the primary sources, even though they may be the same data in terms of the name, but then they may not be the same data structure. Okay. A data set that you collect on social media will not be in the same structure with the data set that you collect offline when you give people questionnaires. You understand? So that can bring about data integration compatibility. And by the time you bring them and try to impute them into the system, you begin to have compatibility issues. And then also within this particular problem, there are systems that are old. So that means you as a data analyst, you need to continuously update your system, update your data analytics tools, all the spreadsheet tools, the and the programming tools, everything you need to keep them updated. If not, you encounter data integration compatibility issues. And then you also have the data volume and complexities. Yes, that is another issue. Many a times when you watch tutorial videos on YouTube and other places, you see that those who actually teach, they teach using small sets of data. But then in the real world, you are going to face a very big volume of data sets, and that is what we call the big data. So imagine you are dealing with data set that has to do with like 100,000 records or close to even 1 million records. Yes, what are you going to do? So that is an issue. So how you can be able to manage the volume of the data set and also the complexity, because as these data sets are big, so also they are complex with different data types, with different formats. Okay. Like there was a particular data set that I was working on for someone. I think it's geospatial data. And then I began to see images one side, I began to see numbers one side, I began to see dates one side. It was so complex. And honestly, I had to give up on that particular project. Yes, because geospatial, I am not I every field has their own technical terms. So I don't want to start going through technical dictionary, trying to find out what the meaning of this field is and all that. So those are examples of complexity that we are talking about. So, and then also another problem can be choosing the right tools and techniques. Yes. So, okay, you are dealing with a clean data set, then that means the next thing is to analyze. So you start thinking, okay, between Python and Excel, which one can I use to analyze? You know, or between Excel and Tableau, which one can I use to visualize? So choosing the right tool can also be a challenge. And that is why I don't really blame people who end up learning only one tool. There are some people that are Excel analysts only. They listen. That is, they strictly learn Excel, and that is where they are. So as Excel keeps updating itself, that is how they are also updating their Excel package, and they remain at that point. But there are some who go further to learn other tools, and then by the time you learn other tools, another now the problem of choosing the right tool and technique comes in. So that is one challenge you will want to overcome. So in conclusion, what is the future of data analysis? So the future of data analysis is characterized by increased automation, real-time processing, advanced AI-driven insights, and a focus on data privacy and ethical consideration. The role of human analysts will evolve with an emphasis on collaboration with AI systems, interpreting data in meaningful ways, and communicating insights effectively. So that is just the future of data analysis, and it is here to stay. Yes, the future of AI. AI is here to stay. So imagine that you can be on your way. You've heard of the self-driving car. Yes, that is the future of data analysis. If you are told the amount of data that goes into producing a self-service, that is a self-driving car, you would marvel. You would marvel. A lot of data was injected into it. A lot. Data set that has to do with the engine, data set that has to do um with other parts of the cars. Okay, I'm not so good at cars, but other parts of the car. So all those data sets were analyzed individually, and then they were all you know aggregated together to be able to build a model which can identify patterns, and from there they are now able to arrive at a self-driving car, such that a self-driving car, once it gets to a pothole, it is able to know that this place is a pothole, and then it applies a brake. How does it know? Because of data sets. That is the power of data analysis. That is the future of data analysis. So AI is here to stay. Increase automation in everything. Everything is now automated. And almost everything is automated, yes. You know. So it's as simple as that. And then also you have the real-time processing real time. You are on your vehicle, and then you are you are now maybe you want to go to point B from point A. That is a real time processing. If let's say along the way there is a traffic, you quickly ask Google what is the nearest way, and then it processes fast and then shows you another way of getting to it. So that is real time processing. So this is the future of data analysis, I tell you. And then there is also the issue of data privacy here, because all these things comes with data privacy issues and ethical consideration. So at what point does data of people becomes private? At what point um, does privacy of people are taken into consideration and all that? So That is for that, and we have actually concluded on this course, on this particular session. And before we wrap it up for the day, I want to use this opportunity to talk to us on the 4 months full stack data analytics training. And it will be covering four tools: Microsoft Excel, SQL, Power BI, and Python. So we are starting Monday, Monday the 18th of November. That is in 2 days' time. Today is Saturday, so we are starting on Monday. And the method of teaching is online via Google Meet. Okay, it's a paid class. It's a paid class, and we are starting on Monday. So, um, if and I'm going to be the one teaching you. Okay, so it's a 4 months full stack data analytics training. We are going to cover all the tools. One tool will be covered for 1 month. Okay, assignments will be given, and you know, you also I'll also take you through mentorship. Okay, and all that. So the fee in Nigerian naira is 25,000 naira per month. Okay, it's 25,000 naira per month. So my contact, I'll be dropping it on the comment section. You do want to reach out to me on WhatsApp, and then we can take it from there. Please, you make your payment before the class starts. It's very important to make your payment before the class starts. And there's something about learning an IT skill. If you know you are not a fast learner, it is good to start as the class is starting. Okay, so that so that your way becomes streamlined. And with this, we have actually come to the end of the live session tonight. I hope you have been able to learn something new today. I'm going to see you next time. But before I go, I would want to turn on the comment section to see if you have any questions for me. Please, you can drop your questions in the comment section and let me know if you have any questions for me. Let me know if you have any questions. So I'm going to be typing my WhatsApp number. Once you make a payment, you send me the screenshots and I'll add you to the group. So that is my WhatsApp number. You can reach out. So if you have a question you can about the presentation, you can ask. Okay, it's all right. So since there are no questions, um, you do want to reach out to me on WhatsApp, and you'll be added to the group, and we'll pick it from there. I thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you, and I know that you have actually learned one or two about data analytics, and I hope to see you in the class. Um, have a goodbye from me.